Billy Skeptic
Oh.
for $5. Once Michigan's wins are vacated, they're not going to be vacated. There will only be 4 big playoff wins with one natty. The big gets beat in the playoffs like the overrated mugs they are. Wins will not be vacated at Michigan. They're just not going to do that. I think what punishment would I give? It doesn't matter. What would you do? It doesn't matter. The NCAA is not going to vacate the national championship. They're not going to vacate wins. I think they are going to end Jim Harbaugh's access to college football coaching jobs. I think they are going to dramatically reduce Michigan's ability to recruit on multiple fronts, off campus, on campus, and they are going to dramatically reduce scholarships.
Well, and I love that now everyone, in the college football community is talking about how Sharon Moore, is definitely like it went from, oh, he's not going to get a show cause to now, yeah, oh, he's definitely going to get a show cause because of the deleted tag. Like people are evolving on this discipline conversation every day. And the reality is, yeah, you're not vacating wins. You're just going to prevent them from winning for probably, I would say, like 5 to 7 years, probably, when you think about recruiting and, the Sharon Moore show cause that inevitably is going to show up. And like, there's a lot of, you're going to pay a heavy price moving forward.
And Jim Harbaugh yesterday met with the media as the head coach of the Chargers and again attacked the NCAA over its withholding of revenue from players, which I think we all agree with that. The problem is Jim Harbaugh is only doing that because he doesn't want to talk about his situation. And I will play you, I believe this is a video from 3 weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will play you what he said 3 weeks ago because it's the exact same thing he said yesterday.
Yeah, I do have a comment on that. Never lie, never cheat, never steal. I was raised with that lesson. I have raised my family on that lesson. I have preached that lesson to the teams that I've coached. No one's perfect. If you stumble, you apologize, and you make it right. Today, I do not apologize. I did not participate, was not aware, nor complicit in those said allegations. So for me, it's back to work and attacking with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
Never mind that Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the LA Chargers, it doesn't matter if you were complicit, took part, or knew. The NCAA doesn't care about that. It's your job to know. It is your job to know what your staff is doing. It is your job to know what your staff and their staff are doing. And if you don't, you're derelict in your duties. And it's a level 1 violation.
Yeah, and I think, Jim is, look, you shouldn't be surprised by what Jim has to say anymore if you're a college football fan or anybody really. I mean, Jim is running the same playbook he's been running for years now, which is, hey, I'm just going to say that I didn't know anything. And, like yesterday as an example, this is not the first time, but yesterday, saying, oh, well, the NCAA doesn't have any credibility and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, dude, you're saying the same thing your lawyer said 3 weeks ago.
And the worst part is you're saying somebody else doesn't have credibility. When you are the one who has denied any knowledge, you were slapped with a massive show cause order already related to your dishonesty and your subversion of the NCAA process with the COVID period recruiting violations where, it was, we go back to, hey, he was just buying some hungry kids a burger, which turned out to be complete BS, and then lied about knowing a recruit was on campus or meeting with him or communicating with him. And then when they put text messages in front of you, like, oh yeah, I didn't know, or you were caught lying. Why would we believe you now?
Don't lie to me.
And when you say, hey, they have no credibility, well, who are you to question people's credibility?
But and I think the other thing that's so rich about what Jim's doing now too is, like, ESPN does this interview, covering the Chargers, and they talked to a bunch of players. They talked to Jim. They talked to the front office. And I love how everyone's like, oh, Jim is this amazing head coach. And, he's lifting weights with us and the attention to detail and everything's amazing. You can see the strategy here, dude.
Yes.
This is very clear. Hey, we're going to put out a bunch of positive media, making Jim look like everyone's All-American as a head coach in LA. And never mind the fact that Jim is so brazen about the concept of, hey, I pulled one over on you guys. I'm in the league now. By the way, everything's going awesome over here. Never mind that the program I left is a dumpster fire now because of my actions.
But we won a national championship. We did great things. I went back to Michigan as, a superhero and Captain America, and I couldn't beat Ohio State to save my life. And so I started selling vacuums, and what do you know? All of a sudden, we sucked up a national championship.
Fine Steeler guy.
And yeah, they wanted to make me the highest paid coach in the history of college football, but that wasn't enough because they wouldn't indemnify me against NCAA penalties, so I left.
Cheating, lying, and then playing the victim.
That's what I do.
Is what it is.
That's who this guy is. That's who this guy is, without question. Eric and Raleigh, I am who I thought I was, and I let myself off the hook.
Right.
Exactly.
Precisely.
Exactly right. And I don't think there's any doubt that I believe Jim Harbaugh is a terrible human being, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, last year I ripped Jim Harbaugh for his career and his accolades and his wins versus not wins and what he did with the Niners, and everyone was like, "Oh, you don't know anything about Jim Harbaugh." And this guy's done exactly what I said he was going to do, which is you're going to be in a program for 3 years. You're going to burn that thing down. What was it at Michigan? 6 years, I think it was in total, or whatever it was, maybe longer than that. But basically long enough where you were established, and then you couldn't figure out how to beat your main opposition. So you had to go out and cheat, and then you're going to deny it, and then you're going to take it a step further, and you're going to insult the credibility of the NCAA. I agree the NCAA has issues. I hate the way they handle discipline. I think they operate their business in a caveman way when it comes to that. And they need to change. That does not, however, mean that Jim somehow gets to just sit here and name call and do all this. And to your point, this is what you've been saying. This is the new thing now. This is what we do in life now. Like, hey, we're just going to insult everybody and say that you don't know anything as like a defense strategy. And
we're going to rewrite history. That's what we do in this country. If we don't like how we acted or the way things turned out, we just lie about it. We like the rules until they're applied to us. And that's what Jim Harbaugh is telling you, because yesterday when he's ripping the NCAA and he's talking about how they have no credibility, I would remind you, who is the NCAA? And I know I say this all the time. The NCAA is Michigan. The NCAA is all of its member institutions are the ones who set the policy. Michigan was involved in setting that policy. So does Michigan have no credibility? It's alarming to me that people don't understand the NCAA isn't just a bunch of dudes who arbitrarily make decisions. The NCAA is every university that we're talking about, because they're the ones, their presidents, their chancellors, those are the people, their athletic directors. Those are the people on these committees at the NCAA. They're the ones who make the NCAA. Who do you think hired Charlie Baker? Yeah, the universities hired Charlie Baker. They all voted for him. They ratified his contract. Like, do you understand that the people holding down these kids, Jim, it's you in Michigan. It's you in Michigan. So you can sit here and say they don't have any credibility. Who are you? And of course, the media in Los Angeles doesn't know anything about the Michigan situation. So nobody is going to question him about it.
And by the way, what's he going to say when the NFL drops a 2 or 3 game suspension on him?
Yeah, because I don't think they have a choice but to.
Are you going to say that the NFL lacks all credibility? Are you going to say that, the suspension is totally baseless and yada, yada? Like, you're not going to say that. You're not going to do that. Like, you know what he's going to do? He's probably going to do nothing. He's probably not going to comment on it. You won't see him do press on it. And when someone asks him about it, he's going to say, yeah, you can defer all those questions to my attorney or something. Like, he's not going to talk about it. And that's why ultimately, to put a bow around this, I don't respect Jim Harbaugh. I think the guy has no morals.
I
He
agree.
has no ethics. He's not interested in, making men. Like, at least with Dabo, I have grievances with Dabo. You like, at some point you're going to have to embrace the portal. You're going to have to make some changes. At least with Dabo, we have no reason to think the guy is cheating or, doing nefarious stuff. He's doing it the way he wants to do it. He's guilty of being stubborn, and that may mean they're not winning a whole bunch, but at least it's on the up and up.
Yeah. Hillbilly Skeptic, $5 more. So Kentucky gets vacated wins for bowls and NIL discrepancy. No, they played ineligible players. They had players who participated that were ineligible. That's completely different. There is not an eligibility issue at Michigan. And the idea that they would vacate a national championship is wild to me. I don't believe, and this is, again, I think most people that I've spoken to about it, I think most people agree that vacating a national championship is never going to happen again.
Well, and just don't think it does anything.
Well,
What's the punishment?
Did they win the national championship? They did. Did Reggie Bush get his Heisman back? He did.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You want Michigan to have their wins vacated. It's not realistic, in my opinion. And maybe I'm wrong. The issue is they had a chance to take Jim Harbaugh out of the equation at the time, and they did not do it. They did not do it. So you're not going to retroactively go back and say, yeah, you guys didn't win that national championship. And I, again, would ask, who are you giving it to? You're just not going to have a national champion for 2023? Come on. You can't just hand it to Washington. With all due respect, Michigan was a superior football team last year. They were clearly the best team in college football on the field, which is what's so massively overlooked. They didn't play ineligible players. So we can sit here in the Kentucky situation is completely different. It is in no comparison to what happened at Michigan. In none whatsoever. And I think most people agree the players are the ones being held blameless here. They're going to end coaching careers. They're not going to take, what are you going to do? Take their t-shirts back? Hey, kids, we vacated those wins. Can you guys bring your national championship gear back, please? All the fans, too. No refunds, but we're going to need you to send those hats you ordered back. We're going to need you to send them back.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You're not doing that. You're not vacating wins. You're not unwinding a watch. Like,
well, you can't unwind the watch. And that's the thing that, with all due respect to this dude, I think you just don't understand or don't want to accept. We can talk about, we'll take their championship away. It doesn't matter if you want to go back into the past, knock over our award. If you want to go back over the past and change and try to change that, like, you can't do that, man.
Yeah,
that's not how it works.
You're not going to revise history. You're just not. I think it is very interesting to me that people, I think, yeah, time will tell. I'm stuck on the Pokes vodka, one for the road. It is, if you're just tuning in here on the Monty Show, yesterday it was announced that our good friends at Oak State got their own Pokes vodka.
You should be embarrassed. Honestly, you should be embarrassed.
I am amazed by that. That you have the DUI scandal and you punish nobody for it because Gundy didn't get punished. Ollie Gordon clearly did not get punished.
Again.
And so then you roll out a Pokes branded vodka. Wild to me. Just wild to me.
Who thought, and you know what the thing is with that? That's not just Gundy. That's school administration approving that.
Yeah, it's systematic. It's systematic. No doubt. Calford, signed Steeler guy has a Netflix documentary. I never heard that. There's a documentary about signed Steeler guy?
Signed Steeler guy.
I had no idea.
Yeah, maybe we should ask Dave Portnoy what he thinks of the documentary.
Yeah. There's that too. I just, it's fine. What did Michigan do now? No, it's Jim Harbaugh again. San Diego State Glenn, NCAA and quote, so easy, even a caveman can do it until they can't. Exactly. Why is it so hard for people to understand the structure of the NCAA? I am amazed that, and I know why Jim Harbaugh is talking about the NCAA as though it's a separate body, because he's trying to make an argument to cover himself. But you guys understand the plan in the system and the oppression of the college athlete was perpetrated by the universities. You understand that, right? This wasn't just some dude who's like, yeah, I'm going to put more money in my pocket. It was all the dudes, meaning every university, because the NCAA had multiple opportunities. And when it was a body of a bunch of old men who were trying to keep more money for themselves, the education's enough. You're getting a scholarship, son.
That's bullshit.
That's what that was all of the institutions, all of the universities that make up the NCAA and vote to ratify that policy and many others. So Red Wine says Michigan was due a national championship for the first time since 1946. Well, you probably should have beat Ohio State fair and square, and then you probably could have had one. Harbaugh saying the NCAA, hello, pot, meet, kettle. Exactly right. Exactly right. Lopes fan Gabe says, like button casuals. Yes, please. We've had well over 1,000 views this morning. Only 44 likes. Come on, let's go. Hit the like button here on the Monty Show. I appreciate you guys doing that. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, make sure you come on over to YouTube, hit the subscribe, and then give us a thumbs up on the Monty Show as we talk about all kinds of college football stuff. Because soon, here in about 5 minutes, we have to get to the Swifties. Because the Kelsey Swift Swelsey
social media
romance could be coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shocking, troubling end. But we'll talk about it. Calford, Harbaugh sounds like Trump, but it's too early in the show for politics. Too early. Boyd Lake, Dabo certainly seems genuine. Harbaugh seems not genuine. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference. Like, that's why I say, like, you may not agree with like Dabo's stances on like the portal or other things inside of the game, but at least Dabo is genuine, and like you're either going to keep him on that staff and keep him as your head coach, and you're going to deal with what he thinks, or you're going to let him go because of that, not because the guy cheated to win a national championship or like had all these scandals. And at least for that, I can respect Dabo.
I agree. I think it is, at least I can respect his name, image, and likeness.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, I think it is, it's fine. Ed Enriquez, what happened to Penn State in those vacated wins? Nothing.
Yeah.
They were all, it was over 100. They were all restored. Like the vacating wins means nothing. It means nothing. Absolutely nothing. And Pedo State is probably the best example of it. It is disgusting to me that Penn State still has a football program. We're going to overlook the abuse and the absolute horror show that happened at Penn State and restore Joe Paterno to his, altar. Do you really think they're going to go after Michigan and take away a national championship and vacate wins? That's not happening. I can't imagine. Take the national championship away and give it to the. Yeah, what are you going to do? Anoint Ohio State? Kyle.
Yeah,
It's
why don't
fine.
you give it to Ryan Day's, private investigator?
His
Maybe that'll be
brother.
better.
It was his brother.
Yeah, his brother.
Remember that whole thing? Oh, well, Ohio State, they are the ones who can ask all the Michigan, the blogs and the real insiders at Michigan who know everything
The real insiders.
and
Okay.
who got none of this right. Come on, man. UW fan Jim, why not? UW was the true champs, yeah, but you couldn't beat them on the field. And if Michigan stole Washington signs, that's a Washington problem. So, let's see. Who else? Glass City Buck. Yes, Eric. Give it to the Calford. I beg to differ, but we can agree to disagree.
Beg to differ on what?
I don't know. I believe it's a political conversation. The eye patch. Take scholarships and give them a bowl ban for 5 years, hurt their future. That's what the NCAA is going to do. The NCAA is going to make it impossible for Michigan to recruit. They're going to give them a postseason ban, probably a 2-year postseason ban, which is going to hurt you for 5+ seasons because you're not going to be able to recruit. Then you're on top of that, you're not going to be able to go to the postseason, which means you're not going to be able to recruit further. And then you're not going to be relevant. So after 5 years, you're going to still be in a position where Sharon Moore is probably not your head coach anymore. But you're going to be in a position where you're going to have to restock talent, and you're going to have to try and find a way. And the portal is a big deal. NIL will be a big deal. You're going to have to find a way to have an influx of talent. And it is Michigan, so I would think at some point the brand matters and legacy kids matter. But you're going to be light years behind Ohio State. You're going to be light years behind SC and Oregon. It's going to be a very steep climb back to the top of the Big Ten.
Wow, especially if Lincoln Riley is going to do more of that winning.
It's bad enough that yesterday you came in here and said nice things about Lincoln Riley. Stop. Do not continue that, please. Profits from Pokes Vodka will fund an addition of luxury boxes and a 4th stadium deck at whatever stadium called where the Pokes play. That'd be BPS, Boone Pickens Stadium. It's fine. The Big Lubbock, Texas Tech has Raiderland Red Lager. Part of the proceeds go to NIL. How did that work out over the weekend? I love that all the Texas Tech fans are like, Joey's not going anywhere, bro. Okay. Be mediocre. Because if you're a Texas Tech fan and you're happy with Joey McGuire, I am sad for you. Because what we saw last year, now we know is not a fluke. What happened in Laramie last year was not a fluke. The bad losses, the injuries, not a fluke. Now, am I going full Tyler Shuck and saying that Lubbock smells like manure? I'm not. I'm not. Can you believe he said that? I'm not. But what I am telling you is, if you do not recognize that there are major issues with talent and depth at Texas Tech, your head is in the sand.
And we haven't even talked about the play calling yet.
Your head is in the sand. What is going on in Lubbock should be frightening. And all the Texas Tech fans are like, what you don't understand is this is a rivalry. What you don't understand is it doesn't matter. You were playing like a D7 school. Come on, bro. Like, did you guys look at, and I'm not even trying to be an a-hole about it. Did you guys look at the numbers? Let me pull up the, did you guys look at the numbers,
bro,
in that game? And I'll remind you, it's Abilene Christian.
Because it's garbage.
I get it. The Wildcats. I totally understand it.
Well, they're a college football playoff team, right?
You allowed Abilene Christian to put up 30 first downs. 11 of 16 on third down. 615 yards for Abilene Christian.
Abilene.
506 passing yards for Abilene Christian. Well, at least you picked him off 0 times. They threw the ball 51 times, and you didn't pick him off once, Abilene. They ran for 109. How? They outpossessed you 33 minutes and 48 seconds to 26:07. You only put up 539 yards, and you still only won by one point.
Well, Monty, Barron is a hell of a quarterback. Don't you know who he is?
And he was outgained. Oh, but Monty, McIver, he was, he used to be there. Who cares?
Don't you know who I am?
Who cares? You're Texas Tech. And you let a kid throw for 506 yards and 3 scores. Are you out of your mind? And if he threw for 506, why isn't he starting at Texas Tech?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that he used to be there and he's not still there? Over manure smeller. And the sad thing is, Baron Morton's performance got outshined. And again, I know it's shocking. You have a major injury on offense with Taj Brooks. If you are not concerned about Texas Tech, bro, what is it going to take to make you become concerned? What is it going to take? That's wild to me. It's wild to me. The Big Lubbock. Abilene Christian has our former DC and 7 former players. Who cares? Who cares? You're Texas Tech. And this right here, this is the problem in Lubbock. You're apathetic. You gave up 500 passing yards. I don't care if you really believe that they know your signs. Let me break it to you the hard way. If Abilene Christian knows your signs, Joe McGuire's incompetent.
Fine Steeler guy.
Hate to break it to you. Are you not using helmet communications? Hate to break it to you. If they know your signs, Joey McGuire should resign. He shouldn't be fired. He should resign. Do you think he doesn't know that the former DC and 7 former Raiders are on that team? He should resign for incompetence. If you guys don't understand that what's happening in Texas Tech is an absolute abomination of football in that town, I don't know what else it's going to take. You gave up 51 points to Abilene.
And you want to say that they had your signs?
I'm amazed by it. I am amazed by it.
I just think I don't know why it's taboo to say yeah, that's unacceptable to give up 51 to Abilene. Like again, and I said this yesterday, you still won the game. We'd be having a very different conversation if you had lost the game and gave up 51. You still won. But to give up 51 to a team like that does not bode well.
At all.
Like at all.
At all. I am amazed by it. I am amazed by it. And it just is, yes, 51 points to a town. I always say this about directional. Let me ask, is Alabama giving up 51 points to South Alabama? Is Alabama giving up 51 to some directional institution?
Directional institution.
Because they're not. They're not.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide.
They're not. And I agree with the eye patch 100%. You gave up 51 to a town. Not a state school.
And it sucks.
Not a technical institution, but a town. You gave up 51 to a town, boy.
You guys got to write all this negative stuff when we lose.
Dadgum. Where's my vodka?
But I don't read any of this. I don't hear it. It doesn't affect me.
Oh, welcome to the nightmare. Texas Tech fans saying they had their signs as like FSU fan blaming jet lag. That was the best.
Marty.
You know, we say the best part about Florida State and the jet lag thing is you stayed there to sightsee the next day. And then you're blaming jet lag. No, bro. No, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah.
Marty, listen. We flew back and, BC kicked our ass because we were jet lagged.
We had jet lag.
It's unfair.
Got off the plane. Oh my God. This is a terrible story. And I don't remember who the driver was. His name just went right out of my head. Did you hear about the NASCAR driver? Tyler Reddick. Did you hear about Tyler Reddick over the weekend? Apparently he caught a bug before he got in the car. Over the radio, he said, "I'm throwing up and shitting myself." A lot. In the car. He's
A lot.
It's coming out both ends. What do you do if you are strapped into a NASCAR saddle, and a seat, and and it's coming out both ends?
And I love
it's coming out both ends a lot.
Dude, I love that the response from the team was, well, hey, look, on the next pit stop, we're going to give you some pills. Now, you're going to chew the ones that are going to stop it from coming out your rear end and swallow the ones whole.
The ones in the cup, you drink the ones in the cup with the water. Chew the ones with the...
Dude.
Bro. A lot.
Good luck, dude. Good luck, because...
That would be, is that not the worst? The only thing as close as I've gotten to that was driving back from the Jeezy last year in an awful snowstorm, fighting a thigh cramp. In the worst snowstorm, when you're going to die on the highway, there's going to be blood on the highway. Remember that in driver's ed?
Mm-hmm.
Blood you don't remember that, but you never took driver's ed. I was driving back from St. George in a terrible snowstorm, on the verge of death just from driving. Couldn't see 2 feet in front of my face. And I was fighting off the worst thigh cramp for a solid hour up in Cedar City.
I just try to stand strong.
And that was not a lot. Can you imagine? And a lot.
I love that. He goes, yeah, it's... a lot.
A lot. Can we get a vacuum in here? I don't even know what you do. Daniel Dixon, our newest member of the Monty Show. Let's go, Daniel. The Iowa tribe has arrived. Love it. Good to see you. Appreciate you. You can join the membership, $1.99 a month. Get you into the Monty Show membership. It highlights your comments. We always read our member comments first. Always, absolutely. We appreciate your support. Calford, in the medical field, we call that a code brown. I bet you do. I bet you do. He needed some Depends, not some pills. Oh, the smell just had to be wretched. Oh.
Like, you're literally driving a stock car, and I don't know what track they were at, but let's call it 150 miles an hour to be conservative, right? Like you're zooming around a track in a race car, taking a dump in your pants repeatedly and throwing up in your helmet. Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pass on that.
The smell,
that was a masterpiece of dog shit.
The mixing of bodily fluids,
dude.
No, I'm fine.
Respect for driving through that.
All right. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show is always presented by Canyons Golf in Park City, the official golf resort of the Monty Show. Park City Mountain Resort at Canyons Village is where you find Canyons Golf. It is phenomenal. There is nothing better than mountain golf. I love it. Lush green fairways, beautiful vistas, big rock faces, rock wall faces, mountains, elk, deer, coyotes, foxes, all kinds of wildlife, beautiful breezes. And the temperatures up in Park City right now are amazing. You're playing golf. I'm a big guy. I believe in, well, I am statured. Anyway, my point is I work out now, so I'm less of a big guy. I'm a big believer. Do you even lift? That was a Freudian slip. I'm a believer in morning golf. I'm not the guy that likes a 3 o'clock tee time. I'm a guy that likes a 7:30 tee time. Go up to canyons, tee off. It's about 60 degrees. The sun is up. It's just beautiful weather. And then you're surrounded by a world-class resort. You play 18 holes of resort-style golf, municipal pricing, which is the best part of it. And then you go get a world-class meal. You go to the farmer's market in Canyons Village. You watch their concert series. It's remarkable. There's a Mexican joint at the bottom of the Pendry at Canyons Village that is just awesome. I love it. Whether you want just the world-class golf, whether you want just world-class dining, shopping, hiking, mountain biking, everything you need, that's where you find Canyons Golf. And it has been such a good year. Again, the greens are beautiful, challenging. Most greens have tiers. But I know that aim point is controversial. I totally understand it. I am telling you, aim point is if you're somebody that plays golf and you don't use aim point for putting, you're crazy. It has completely changed the way that I putt. It is completely changed. Once you learn it, it is remarkable. I say that because you have big greens that are challenging at canyons. So a lot of times your putts are really your putting will make or break your scorecard. And if you're somebody like me that tracks their handicap, you know, I got to make putts. This was that weekend where every ball was just over the outside of the hole. Ooh, that was frustrating. But again, people were asking me yesterday about this drive. I legitimate, and Mrs. Monty can confirm this. She watched it happen. I legitimately hit a 400-yard drive on Sunday. And it was one of those ones, when if you play golf and you hit a driver and it's just pure, it sounds different and the ball just explodes off the driver. Dude, that ball just was go. And you're just watching it. And you know, when you watch a drive, you're waiting for it to peak and then it just starts falling. This was one of those drives that never peaked. It's the greatest driver swing I think I've ever had. It's
great.
That's what you get with mountain golf. The ball just flies. It is remarkable. Canyons Golf, Park City Mountain Resort, Canyons Village, the official golf resort of the Monty Show. 5 weeks left. I think their last day is scheduled to be October 13th. Let's get together and play some golf. Yes, also, real quick, because I was asked about it yesterday about what I am wearing to this Indian wedding.
Right.
So I'm going to a traditional Indian wedding Friday night and Saturday. I guess they're 2-day events. Multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So much money.
Not doing it. Craziness. But it is a thing, and I'm wearing like traditional in the Indian culture. They have very traditional dress.
What colors?
I am going to wear Saturday to the actual wedding ceremony. I'll be wearing a dark blue.
Nice.
Like a deep blue. And then I'll also be wearing Friday. Apparently there's an event on Friday night that happens. I'm going to be wearing like a mauve, like a red, a real deep red, with tan pants.
Nice.
I'm going to wear that deep blue with black pants. So it's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting. I've never been to a wedding of this size and scope. Never have I been to a wedding this size.
Yeah, it's always interesting to go to a wedding that embraces a different culture to kind of see, how that all goes down.
Yeah. I just ask. How much are you willing to spend on your wedding?
Dude, 100 G's?
No, this is going to, my belief, so in the Indian culture, they're huge weddings. And it's going to be extravagant. I'll talk about it Monday on the show. I'm actually really excited for the pageantry and to see what are you spending $200,000 on. You're providing apparently 2 catered meals, one on Friday night, one on Saturday.
Well, that's the first thing. Like, it's a 2-day thing.
It's a 2-day thing.
You had mentioned that yesterday.
3 ceremonies, I think.
Yeah, that's where all the money is. I mean, the fact that it's multiple days, like,
I don't even.
That's wild.
Yeah.